We could help them to provide life-changing experiences to Native American youth through involvement in their arts that they're already doing. Inspiration combined with the experience of being part of something exciting and enriching that raises self-awareness and self-esteem, this can be a lifelong tool, whether or not the child ever becomes a professional artist. That's not the point. There are other valuable jobs besides being in the spotlight, jobs for shy people, jobs for non-artists, jobs that can lead to technical careers in sound, lighting, media, television, film, hospitality, transportation, logistics, publicity. Just being around the excitement of putting on a professional show is really inspiring to a young person. Now, here's something important that really has to be mentioned, and it's been a heartbreaker to me for a long time. You know, I play on a lot of fancy stages, but I also play on a lot of reserves and reservations. And normally, when professionals bring a show to a marginalized community, there are a few days of thrill and excitement. You can imagine. But then it all goes away. That's the heartbreak. And some poor 14-year-old goes back to feeling like a nobody the next day, maybe even worse off than before, by comparison to the stars in the spotlight. But those very kids could be helping to build the stage, to learn how to move the amps, load the equipment, provide the food, tons of jobs. To be more than just part of an audience, to be an important part of producing the actual event can have a lasting positive effect, especially on somebody who doesn't have a whole lot of interesting things to do. An internship would provide that some of these kids would join the show for a time, even get paid, learning valuable skills that are hard to come by in their region, and having the opportunity to teach other kids at the next few stops. See, the way I would envision it, you could do this outside of Albuquerque, you know, with several reserves. They'd need to be driving distance, but not real close, kind of far driving distance, and we don't want to involve airplanes. It could also be, it could be piloted in Minneapolis area, it could be piloted in the Northwest, wherever. The thing is, it's a template, and once you learn how to do it, it benefits everybody. This puts these kids in the internship program into leadership positions toward developing valuable arts and art services professions. The target demographics would be Native American First Nations community members aged, I don't know, what, 12 to 20-something, pick a number. Their guardians, teachers, community members like the carpenters who would help them and show them under the guidance of the professionals how to make a proper stage. That's something you can keep forever. Yeah, I've been on many a rickety stage. Yeah, there's a lot of things in showbiz that if you do it right, finally got this thing tight, it works. Besides the obvious youth beneficiaries, the touring Native American professionals who are largely underserved, underrepresented, misperceived, and underappreciated, playing in lousy venues in the mainstream competitive world of professional arts and getting nowhere, would benefit by the opportunity to showcase their talents in significant ways to a population of their peers as they entertain and educate within Native America. Another little note I would have to give you is that no headliner or support act, you know, show business professional, should be expected to do more than a limited number of shows. The opportunity and the work should be spread out among many participants, and there are many, many artists who could headline. Nobody should burn out, and it should always be a pleasure to repeat the experience. Do the math. Artists are broke, exploited, and underserved. Reservation youth are longing for something fun to do. Kids are wasting away uninspired, bored, and not really full of hope for themselves. As an artist, I say we got to do something. In the 1960s, some of us stuck our necks out. We objected and we protested the war in Vietnam, and we helped to end it. Yes, we did. And some of us took a hit for that, but we did it anyway. But we have made advances in Native America in the arts. Because we stuck our necks out and tried. I remember in 1964, back before you were born, I got a call. I was real famous, right? I got a call from people on television network. They were doing this 3-hour drama called The Virginian, and they wanted me to take a part in it, right? And I said, well, I'll consider it if all the Native American parts are played by Native Americans. And they said, oh, no, that's impossible. The actors aren't there. You're the only one. And I said, oh, wait a minute. My friend Lois Red Elk was working with Jay Silverheels, who played Tonto. And they had an Indian Actors Workshop in Los Angeles. We made them do it, and it was great. And it became the first ever movie made with an all-Native American cast playing the Native American parts. But you gotta stick your neck out sometimes. You gotta try. I mean, the worst that could have happened is I would have turned it down, but you gotta try. And in the 1970s, some of us protested what was going on at Wounded Knee and the murder and intimidation going on elsewhere in Indian country. And some of us took a hit on that too, but we did it anyway. We've made a lot of progress. My friends, I've seen a Native America with too many of our youth on the edge of tragedy. We've got to do something. And if we don't do something about it now, then we're part of the problem. These kids are bored and confused. So many of them are left alone without a dream. They've got nothing. How can we not apply the medicine of the arts? I've seen and heard my fellow artists in show business express how wonderful it would be if they had a chance to be supported in an effort to bring the magic of the arts to these communities. The way we repair the sacred hoop is by treasuring each other. Through this organization, we have a chance. Well, I've got to give you some good news. Something you may not have guessed, or maybe yes. It is such a sharky world out there in artland and in show business that I long to tell you about my two favorite exceptions. I have received a few great boosts from fellow professionals in two different areas who have been such blocks of courage to me, like candles in the dark. I'm dyslexic in music. I've never learned how to read music. I can write for an orchestra, but I can't read it back the next day. It's not that I don't know how. It's that my eyes don't work, so I don't read it back, right? Got a symbology problem. Well, my friend Chet Atkins, guitar, told me that when somebody asked him if he could read music, he said, not enough to hurt my playing. So see, we're back with the kids at the beach. Our talents are natural. Chet was in all ways a very good friend to me and many other artists, introducing me to some of the finest people I've ever known in and out of the music business. And even more valuable, he encouraged my natural talent and my love for the arts. And that's what motivates us. Those are the highest values. The other person who has been a block of courage to me has had a rather similar effect on me, but in a Native American way, in an education way, and in Native communities. Dr. Valerie Johnson, my friend, and her colleagues at the W.K. Kellogg Foundation taught me so kindly and so thoroughly, networking me with other nonprofits when I didn't know what I was doing. I ran my foundation just with my leftover singing money for so many years. And they showed me how well foundations can work with 501c3s, a world of education and friendship for which I am eternally grateful. Thank you, Val, always. So I carry these two candles very brightly in my heart wherever I go. So, whatever plan we come up with together, and we got to do something, I hope we can help put artists to work in ways that help Native communities and everybody else. The arts are more than just wall decoration and a night's entertainment. If we are made in the image of the Creator, what does that mean? Made in the image of the Creator. We're creative. I don't know, Henry VIII or Vlad the Impaler or Queen Isabella and King Ferdinand or somebody co-opted it and put it up high on a shelf. It's still at the beach and in your hearts. We've got to do this. Made in the image of the Creator. It's our green light for creativity. The creation is sacred and precious. It's having a hard time. No, Keshagesh, you can't do that no more. And the creative people in our community are ready to help us, to help them serve. I thank you very, very much for the opportunity to be around you guys, to listen to what's been going on. I'm not going to go away. I really appreciate being involved with Native American Arts and Culture Foundation as a notorious advisory board member. Kichimigwech.